If I appear caring and I give you a bunch of fishes, I'm a great person. You're going to like me. I'm just a great person because I give out fishes. We teach people to fish. Each person is different and the relationship is different. I'll take fear over deceit and I'll take fear over pride. So when we look at the Enneagram of all the choices on there, it's messy.
I wanted to kick off this morning with one of the things that you and I have kind of shared a moment in talking through this word, but it was kind of almost like our word for last year, which is the word for. Mm-hmm. And our church had this moment. They're like for the 757, and so they made these shirts where it's just for, and then period. Like I'm for you, and we're for schools, we're for kids, we're for our leaders, we're for And so I wanted to. I'll leave it here, but I wanted to ask you, what has that word been? I think in many ways there's a rotation happening at PMI right now with your leaders. We already mentioned it this morning of just they're consistent, they're intentional, they're not backing down off the work, off the load, and yet it is hard. I mean, it is a sacrifice, it is work, but this word for has been a key part of it. There's something to be said about you being for them, or them knowing that you, when you're pushing, when you're challenging, or when you're supporting, you're actually for them. It's not for the money in your pocket. It's not for your own image out in the community. You're actually for them. So you talk to me about that. What's that been?
Well, I think depending on your level of caring and your style. Some people can stay tied together without the word for, but with me being really high support, really high challenge, and kind of being the Rick you guy, I have that word for is very important to me because they'll feel a lot of pressure from me, and if they're here, kind of just keeping it raw. I want them to make money. I want them to do good. I want them to prosper, but sometimes they kind of get their own way with it. They slow down, they over socialize, they're not purposeful about stuff, they're not organized. So, as I'm pushing on them, sometimes they think I don't like them or they think I'm being mean to them. I say, no, not at all. I am for you. You may not know how much I'm for you, but I'm absolutely for you. And then there's a selfishness element to that. I can't get any further without them. Now, I don't like to I just want to make that clear. That doesn't motivate me, and I am not doing it for the selfish reasons of just me. It's like making a whole person. It's it's like we talk about making apostles. Each one, if you're going to be here and be with us, we want to make you an apostle. But they're going to think I hate them, and I don't. I've made a lot of apostles, and I have you can kind of tell in people's lives when we gauge selfishness. If you've not made any apostles, you might be selfish. That's how I gauge that. Well, I made like 50. And very proud of them. They made a difference, and I was for them, but sometimes they didn't think I was for them. Even my children, probably at different times as they were growing up, wondered if I cared about it. But now that I have them and they're out there, and all the time I tell people, it's like, would you like to have a child like that? Well, they know what I was doing, and it was absolutely love. But it wasn't this, so many times people, when you overly care, it appears to be loving, and it's not necessarily as loving as it appears. Sometimes it's a selfish love. It's a wonderful thing. It's beautiful. I love it. Thank God the world has it. But the problem is that this even goes on in America. If I appear caring and I give you a bunch of fishes, I'm a great person. You're going to like me. I'm just a great person because I give out fishes. We teach people to fish, and we teach you how to get your own food. And if you fish and don't catch fish, we'll starve you out. Not because we're against you, but because we care about you. You got to be persistent. You got to do without to get. You got to learn persistence, things like that. So absolutely for, but it's hard to see sometimes.
Yeah. We have a matrix that we base a lot of our work on now, which is high support, high challenge. And one of the things I hear you saying is you have a tendency, because you're a thinker, you're a logical, systematic person. As a thinker, you have the tendency to bring high challenge and low support. I mean, you're just going to go up that hill with people. And that high challenge, low support, by nature, by tendency, you'll end up creating a culture of fear and manipulation unless you are aware of yourself and you begin to calibrate the support with the challenge. And that's where, we say if you're bringing high support and high challenge, that's a liberator. That's somebody who is creating empowerment and opportunity, because you're still bringing a whole bunch of challenge. But the only difference between a liberator and a dominator is that a liberator is for their people, right? And you are intentionally calibrating the support that they need. This requires time, it requires experience, and you get into the nuances of essentially how you end up calibrating support and challenge for each individual person on your team. You probably have learned the gearing of each person on your team, and then how to calibrate support and challenge to that person.
They're all individuals, and each one, to me, it sounds kind of crude, but each one is a one page. Everything I do is a one page intention. I write it out, but each person is different, and the relationship is different. I spent years, when I couldn't get it like I wanted to get it, then I would move to domination, and it would crash it. And because I just, at a young age, I learned. They took the caring out of me early on, because caring was expensive, and it was best just to, maybe the word feeling is better. It wasn't caring. It was, if you don't feel, you can keep going. If you feel, it hurts all the time. So I learned to not feel, and then I thought I could make that work. That was a mistake. The last 40 years, I've had several, so to speak, civil wars, because I had several green people. But if you weren't really, really green and really, really aligned with us, then we pushed on you too hard, and I broke them. Or now, especially with your help, it's like I stop and go, shh, don't do that. It's not worth. I have to slow down for them. I'll keep pushing, but I don't want to hurt them or break them. And then they are going to believe I'm not for them. So.
One of the things that is interesting, and I'm going to connect the dots. Maybe we'll circle back around to the support challenge matrix, but making the connection of you were already introverted and future oriented and a thinker, logical, systematic in how you are, and then a perceiver, meaning somebody who can kind of do their best work under pressure. And you don't have to do methodical and taking a bite out of it every day. You can actually operate in the mess of it all. You know what I mean? And be very creative while you're doing it, right? We have almost like a chart that says that your path to getting there is, a bunch of squiggly lines, and eventually at the end it goes really fast, and then boom, we finish. And so I mix that with your story that you started with in our first episode of your dad, the pain, you've said it multiple times, you got the feeling beat out of you at some point. You give us kind of like a root story of that, that kind of takes you back to that. And so you have a creative pioneer who's already kind of feelings averse, and then you have the narrative or the story combining that, and now you're even more feelings averse, right? And so you're saying, hey, as we are going into a leadership role in a company, that actually impacts how you're going to lead your people, because you're like, hey, there's no room for feelings. We have to rock on. You at some point you tattooed two tears. Oh yeah, there it is.
For meetings. Yes.
Right. This is how far you took the there's no role or space for that, and yet coming back to, wait, we're going to calibrate support because we can actually help people become their best selves in this process, right? A nurturer, a connector at PMI. In the past, maybe it would have been easy for us to go, hey, those feelings, feelers at PMI, it might not last very long, right? And yet you having the ability to calibrate support and challenge has been kind of a game changer. One of the things that happens for us, and you can speak to this a little bit more, is you're a creative thinker, I'm a creative feeler. And so as we go through this process, I have the tendency to bring high support and low challenge. And so think about different spaces coming from media or being in church world as a pastor. I have tended to bring tons of support, tons of care, and then people become entitled. And so creating a culture of entitlement and mistrust. That's the hard part, is the back end of that.
The caring's for sale. A lot of people don't realize that. And you can't tell it because it's camouflage as caring. But the ultimate caring it isn't just, you like me and we're great. And, we're, a lot of times I hear people that go to church and it's like, man, the cookies were great. And, the color of the church is wonderful. I'm like, I'm not so sure that that's what Jesus intended there. I mean, his churches were outside. It's all about the depth of you. What do you take away from that, church? We have to be careful sometimes. Now, keep in mind, I'm speaking the gospel of Rick, like be tough, be strong, and yes, to your point, we were really hard on the caring people and really hard on the nurturing people. What's crazy about it is that every time we speak, we alienate another group. Okay, so every time I speak with push and go and goals and et cetera, creative pioneer talk, the nurturers and connectors are impacted. But every time they speak, I'm impacted. And that right there becomes a problem all over the place. I had to get that beat out of me the hard way because I made just so many mistakes right there. And where now it's like when I start to do that, it's like I'm preaching my gospel, you don't fit it, now we're going to be persecuting you. Well, it also rotates the other way around. I bother them, they bother me, and I got to be so careful with that. And as we've talked about, and then a lot of our meetings now start with, hey guys, if you're here and I impact you some kind of way, I just want you to understand why I'm impacting you. I'm impacting you because my creative pioneer or my Enneagram 6 is speaking, and it's wrinkling your skin or making you feel bad. I don't want you to feel bad. I'd like you to let me get it out, and then I want to let you get it out, and we come together, because that right there, that's happening all day long with these groups of people colliding. So, but as we spoke of earlier, we at PMI, we call it a caring mafia. Now that those two words should not go together.
When you create a protector culture,
absolutely,
of entitlement and mistrust,
yeah, and then everybody runs towards it because it feels good. But the problem is they don't go up the hill. We talk about it here. That this right here is actually progress. This is a throttle. But what we want is this progress. Now this is going to feel uncomfortable because you're like going vertical here. But they're both progress. The problem is the caring progress is right here. People will love it. They'll enjoy it. They'll be like, I'm really comfortable. But that's the problem. You got to push this throttle up here. Now, if we do it as a 4, it's okay. And each person has a throttle. Some people, you got to spend a couple of years here. Some people, you go right to here. But that caring, we got to be it's crazy to say it. You have to be careful with caring because it's out there and everybody wants to appear caring. But at the end of the day, if you don't make an apostle, I'm not so sure how caring it is. I've seen it to be selfish. Yeah. In some ways, that sounds mean.
No, it makes sense. You're speaking to the era of generalized leadership is over. I mean, it is, your leadership is the makeup of how you lead individuals on your team, of how you lead individuals in your family, of how you lead each individual in your community group, whatever it is, the spaces that you're in. Our leadership isn't just this vague, broad, general thing. It's actually very specific to each individual, because each individual on our team or our family tends to experience us differently, right? Our wives, husbands, our sons, daughters, siblings, brothers, sisters, they all experience us differently from each other. And so being able to be consistent through those different relationships is actually the game. Right. I was talking to a group of directors the other day locally, and I was asking them, hey, how many of you are the same at work than you are at home? And some of the guys were like, I'll be honest, I'm a teddy bear at home, right? And I am mean at work, right? I'm like, oh, I was like, so your sons and daughters, I was like, they might get a protector dad. He's just a guardian, right? Pioneer. They get a protector dad. I was like, and your foreman, your PMs, what do they get? Well, they get dominator, right? They get dominator, boss. And so we can protect at home and dominate at work, or vice versa. We can protect at work and dominate at home. And how often does that happen in our circles of influence, essentially? Right?
It's almost like, it's crazy. I kind of wondered several times why the Lord did just give us all these answers at first so we could avoid all this carnage and all these mistakes. But it's like when you don't have awareness, you're like bumper cars. You're just bumping off of everything, bumping, banging. And it's okay because it's called bumper cars. You expect it to happen. But that's the problem. It's one of those when you're not aware, and the awareness, whether you're a caring nurturer or a creative pioneer, when you don't have the awareness or you're not striving for it, the bumper cars continue, the bruises and all that stuff. People are getting hurt all the time. And a lot of times we don't even mean it, but it happens because it's not intentional. So, that's out there.
One of the things that I'd like to do, just so that it's clear for the people watching this, whether it's PMI or the greater community, I would love to, in the process of working together the last 3-4 years, we've essentially gotten a bachelor's in Enneagram and 5 voices, just going back and forth. What could you take us through the Enneagram, how you know it? I know there's 9 of them, and just give us a quick synopsis of each number. When you think of these numbers, what are you looking for? How does it actually play out relationally as a leader? Because you're kind of doing that every day, really. And I'm doing the same thing. I'll do the same thing with the 5 voices, but I wanted to start with the Enneagram. What do you?
So for me, me and the Enneagram kind of had an encounter when I was like maybe 25 or 26, and I was waking up every day thinking about how I wanted to hurt my father. And it was strange because I was living the American dream. It's like, hey, got a family, got a wife, wonderful kids, had a house, had a business. It's like, why is this happening? Something's wrong here. And it just kept kind of going off. And I didn't feel good about it. And it definitely didn't seem right, but I was angry. And a lot of us males in America, where our fathers betrayed us, we're pissed. Now, we might smile and laugh at you, but inside of us, we are capable of lots of things because we are, that betrayal is a problem. So I knew something was wrong. So I went to church. Well, I didn't just go to church. We were going to church already, but there was a guy there, a Catholic priest named Monsignor McCarran, and he was larger than life. He was not like he was caring, but not caring. He was like, when you're around him, sometimes you go to church and you leave, you're like, I'm not sure what happened today. When you left there, you're like, let us march. You're just like, man, you're like, I want to do something this week. I'm moved. My spirit's moved. I need to do something. And that was strange for me because I'm like, wow, he's such a powerful person.
Mm-hmm. In the kingdom, he would have been like an activator or somebody who kind of got people going, moving.
It's crazy. And it was unique. I'd never seen that before. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of scary, so I go to church because I want to enter into spiritual direction because these thoughts are happening all the time and they were not good and they just did not seem right. And so I go to church and, I'm with him and he's kind of this big, huge, scary guy, and, he sits me down the very first time and I walk in with all my notepads and all my planning. And man, it was amazing. He knew me within 5 minutes. It was crazy. He said, take that back out to your truck. I'm like, no. I just want to show you who I am and how I do stuff. And it's a bit peculiar. He's like, just take that back out of the truck. Never bring that in here again. I'm like, he was scary before. Now it's really getting scary because, and keep in mind, I'm a 6, but I'm counterphobic. So when we say scary, it's an interesting term for us counterphobics. But he was big and scary, so to speak. And just like, man, this is getting weird. Well, he knew the Enneagram and people so well. He immediately made me put my addiction back in the truck. Like I'm addicted to the notepads and addicted to organization and addicted to planning. Why? It comforts me because if I run the high wire and I have a plan, I'm not as scared.
Mm-hmm. Would you say it's addiction to control or to busyness?
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. I'm definitely addicted to busyness because if I'm not busy, the old voices go off in my head. I'm a 6, and and we'll cover that as we go. But us 6s have these voices in our head, and they tend to be what's called awfulizers. They're not real positive voices. They're like, it's bad, it's going to get worse. And we start thinking about what could go wrong. Next thing you know, it's this downward spiral. It's a tornado with a downward spiral. So I'm there, and this is happening. It's kind of freaking me out because I didn't even get a chance to tell him who I was. Well, he already knew who I was in about one meeting. It was amazing. And this is just like Jesus with the lady at the well. That was happening right there. He just knew me. Okay. And he was about to send me out as a raving Christian fan 3 years later. Had no idea that was going to happen. So goes outside. We start talking a little bit. And then within the first and second meeting, he's like, I think you need the Enneagram. I'm like, it's kind of a weird word. I'm like, what's the Enneagram? I'm like, you already took my notepads. Okay. My notepads are my kryptonite. And, they're there. He took that away from me. So I'm sitting here without control, without my power, without my organization. And he's like, I want to teach you about the Enneagram. And, there's a priest named Richard Rohr that does a good job of explaining it. So I got back then there were tapes, called, Naming Our Illusions by Richard Rohr. Now that right there, in 63 years of living on this planet, those tapes and that Enneagram chart, wow, other than Jesus, you don't need nothing else. I mean, it is the stuff. It is all right there. It's amazing. And your 5 voices parallel it. Your 5 voices actually capped it off because it only gave me about 80% of the answer. And when you brought the 5 voices in, it went like 97. It was amazing. So I get the Enneagram, and I'm learning about it. I have dyslexia, so listening to the tapes was good for me because I listened to them like 20 times. And then, at first I thought I was a 1 because I was angry, and the 1's downside is anger. And inside of me, there's a lot of anger in there. It's like, and it's not very good. And
each one has a strength, right? Each one of the numbers has a strength and a downside.
Each one has an upside and downside. It
upside,
has
downside,
a gift, and it has a sin. The word sin's a little complicated, but it has an upside and a downside.
Okay.
And so I had to be a little bit careful here because I'm thinking I'm a 1, and 1s are kind of the good boys and good girls. And in my head and in my behavior, I was a pretty good boy. But it wasn't it. And 2 or 3 months later, Monsignor McCarran was so patient. He's like, Rick, you're talking about the 1 a little bit. He said, you might go over and check out that 6 thing. And I'm like, 6 over there, fear. Well, I didn't like that word fear. I'm like, that can't be me because I'm courageous and strong. He's like, well, just go sit at the park for a couple of hours and just sit with it, pray on it, come back a little later. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a 6. So, so we have to be really careful because especially when I sit with people, they trust me to pick what they are. That's a journey with you and the Lord. That isn't I'm telling you who you are. That takes a little bit of time and patience, and there, all kinds of things happen with that. So we're learning the Enneagram. We're moving forward with it. I'm using it on myself. Okay. And then, so I start to get the 6 thing, and it starts making sense. And I'm like, man, it's amazing because I had lived so many illusions for so long. It was absolute truth. And I really appreciated it, and things started coming together. The second part of it was trying to understand who my father was. Well, he's a flaming 8. Okay. I mean, he's a flaming 8. That for us 6s, they're like our arch enemy. I mean, we do not like them. They're the direct dominators. They tell like this is an unevolved 8, not an evolved 8, because there's an evolution chart for the Enneagram, 1 to 10. So if you're on the outer band of it, you're like an Enneagram, but you're kind of a caveman or cavewoman. The evolved caveman or the evolved person towards the middle, you barely even notice what they are because they've studied themselves. They've become aware. Yeah. So went to the 8, learned that. I'm like, wow, yeah, that's him. And I wanted to be mad about it. I wanted to be angry about it. But when I saw the Enneagram and I saw the difference in it, I'm like, he's a person. He's a man. And first he was my father. And, Monsignor McCarran told me something in the 3rd year as I was about to leave there. He said, Rick, you keep chasing your father, but your father's not fatherly. You keep longing for him to show up as this baseball playing fishing buddy that's going to protect you. He's not that. He's actually your enemy. He's the person that betrayed you. You're mad at him. So that creates this really abnormal psychology. So I was struggling with this. Well, now the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. So get the Enneagram.
It's funny. It's the second time maybe the 3rd time in the last week that I've heard in a movie, in a podcast, and now you in person. I'm having a moment where I hear the words, hey, sometimes we grow up and our dad is our worst enemy. And that is, that happens to a lot of guys, just in this father-son relationship where, how we connect with God is in many times directly impacted by how we connected with our earthly father. And yet our earthly fathers aren't fatherly sometimes. And yet the heavenly father is like, hey, I'm available to you. You know what I mean? Because I am fatherly. And so there's a big shift that happens there. And that discovery period can take years, decades sometimes. But it sounds like you've been on that journey.
And I still am. I have trouble with the word God. I can do the word Jesus because he's closer. He's a person. He's kind. He's loving. It's an amazing thing why the word God bothers me. It's too big. It's too distant. Almost like my father. It relates to that. So I like the word Jesus. And I know it's all tied together, but I have trouble just saying God. It's just like, I'm having trouble seeing God. I see my father sometimes in that. That makes sense. And it's like, you're too far away. I got hurt and you let me get hurt. That makes sense. So, but now with the Enneagram, it's like, wow, he's a person. He's a man. And he has a childhood too. And he's had things happen to him that have formed him. So it's like, wow. Instead of having so much anger and, all these thoughts, it's like, wow, wonder what made him like him. because what made me like me. So, so we're going down the path here, and now I'm taking the Enneagram back to work. So we're talking about the Enneagram and how to use it. So
Yes.
you use it on yourself first. And
Could we rapid fire? You've been doing this for 30 plus years using the Enneagram now, and I'd love to just hear the upside and downside, how you use it, how you see it in each number. Can we rapid fire each number?
Yes, I mean, we use it every day here in Tribal Messages. When I'm in meetings and I see people getting along really well or not getting along, I'll just stop the meeting and say, "Hey, you see that, guys? You see it? It's happening right in front of you. Over there, you can see there's a 6 on one side of the table and 8 on the other, and they're not getting along. And the 6 is doing the kind of throwing rocks, but they're like little sniper rocks. And the 8's like, I'm going to come across the table and grab you. But in the meantime, everybody's trying to get along because they're being professional.
It happens everywhere.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is going on here every single day. Why? We're in the boiler business, and then we build people, then we build boilers. But the tribal message every day when we're together, stopping the meeting and going, "You see that? You see that?" People are freaked out also. They're like, it happens to them like it was happening to me with the 6, the one confusion, then the 6, then identifying my father. They want that. They long for it. They're confused too. And what this is a map. The problem is they're living their life without this map. And you start showing them this map, they're like, "Hang on just a second."
Yeah.
They can tell inside something's happening. Just like Jesus with the lady at the well. I'm not Jesus. I'm just passing it on. I'm just passing through life, passing this thing on. But people inside, it ignites their spirit.
You're saying for all this time, you've actually been working with people based on their nature, right? Or who they are, their Enneagram number, or their personality type. But then we've been able to overlay now nurture, or their narrative, right? Their story, which heavily impacts that. And then the choices that they've made along the way.
Huge.
That's all. That's behavior. Leadership behaviors are nature, nurture, and choice, right? Coming together. So upside and downside.
Okay,
so
the Enneagram. So let's just do the 6 first. We'll start
6
off.
first.
We'll pick on me. So the gifts of the 6 are courage and loyalty, and which is all awesome. We're awesome people. But the downside is fear, and fear is very complex. It is. It looks. You don't notice it too much, but it has a lot of evil movements to it. So I want to say that because most people want to exploit their gift. Hey, look at me. I'm a 6. My gift's courage and loyalty. You can tell the evolved person and the person that's spiritually moving, they go right to their downside. They stop exploiting their upside. They start, "Hey, look at me. I have a new house. I have a new car. I have money. I'm successful." Instead, they go, "Well, I've had some things happen to me and I'm kind of blessed, but over here's where I struggle." Man, when I'm around people like that, I want to spend like an hour or 2 with them. They're so rare. They're working on themselves. They're instead of being prideful in response or imagey, they're working on themselves in humility. It's so beautiful because all of us, it's amazing. The Lord, okay, here we go again with not God. The Lord gave us all a downside and an upside. It's on the Enneagram map. The problem is people don't want to work on their downside. When you start working on your downside, everything gets better.
We're experiencing it anyway. I mean, if you are under stress or immature, right? Most likely under stress at this point, we see your fear. That fear pops up, and then you say you're counterphobic 6. So you're going to lean into the fear. You're going to, take it head on. But we're experiencing the fear anyway. So even if you're not working on it, we get to experience the downside of it. And yet, if you then directly work on it, you're intentional about getting into that, then it allows for us to not only see the problem, but then we're watching you take on the solution, right?
And people like that because they see me working on myself with me. They'll notice if things aren't going right, or I've got, I struggle a little bit with unevolved 8s. I grew up with 1. So it's like, you're an unevolved Enneagram 8 in my meeting, you're going to get hurt. Now, you won't get hurt physically. You will get hurt psychologically and financially.
Before we get to 8s, talk to me about 7s, upsides, downsides.
So 7.
Let's go happy before we go hard.
You can just tell I'm already like going back into my childhood. I pick on the 8s a lot. 8s are awesome, though. They really are. Evolved 8s are awesome. So 7s, so the 6, courage and loyalty, downside is fear. The 7s, their gift is joy. Their downside is gluttony. And to me, the patron saint of the 7s is Robin Williams. Fun, awesome, great guy, entertainer. His shows come on all the time until he killed himself. Okay, they don't do down well. And we teach the 7s here that when you sit with a 7 and you start talking about this, because they're laughing, cutting up, telling jokes, very like on the surface, don't go deep. and you tell them, hey, I want to spend a little time with you in your downside, they're down. So for example, my cycle of joy to depression is 1 through 10. Theirs is 1 to 100. And they don't go below like 60 on that scale because it hurts. They're going to run from fear. They're going to medicate it, drugs, alcohol, whatever, fun, sex, whatever. But they're awesome, fun, great to be with people. But their downside, like everyone has a downside, is they won't embrace that pain. And I tell the 7s all the time, just do it for 5 minutes at a time. When you get down there, don't run away. Let's not go get high. Okay, let's just experience it for 5 minutes, not for 5 hours. And then they're like, how do you know that? Well, I learned it. Okay. These people, after a while, they're like, how do you know me this well? So the 8s, their gift is passion. Let's talk positively about the 8s. Okay.
Yeah.
They're the classic people of the world. They're direct. They don't want to mess around. When us 6s and we start talking nice talk, they're like, can you please shut up and just tell me what you want done? I'm like, wow. Someday when I grow up, I want to be an 8. I'm serious, but before I die, I need to rotate my knob to 8ness, where it's just like, look, just tell it like it is. I always paint a picture and I'm real nice and I'm really like creative pioneer-ish with it. So yeah, they tell it like it is. They're strong spirits. They don't like to play around. Their downside is the Enneagram chart will say lust, but it's not sexual lust. It's use of others' lust. So what happens is that directness is, hey, I win, you lose, I'm good. I don't care if you lose. Sorry, have a good day, loser. Okay, that's how the 8s do it. It's raw, it's direct. Sorry, there's winners and losers. I'm a winner, you're losing. Have a good day, bye. And not really feeling too bad about it either.
If you get caught in their riptide, you end up a pawn in their chessboard, right? And so that's the lust you're talking about.
Yes.
And the passion is they have such an incredible way of rallying the people around them because they're so strong and forceful. What's that passion, right? Again, used for good. 8 that is for people.
Oh my God, absolutely. To me, of all the numbers, the 6s can prevail to a certain point. But once the 8 becomes aware, that right there, that is a wonderful place to be at. But a lot of 8s don't make it there. They run into themselves. All the numbers run into themselves.
Oh, for sure.
So then we move over to the 9. That's pretty crazy how the 9 works. It's like decisive action, laziness, sloth. You're like, how do those two go together? They go together just like the 6 has courage and loyalty, and fear. How can you have courage and fear? Every Enneagram number has this. It's like there's no way this is not in the design of the universe.
It's a dichotomy. Every number is a dichotomy in some ways.
So the 9s, sometimes I feel bad for the 9s because they're not real glossy, not real flashy. They'll work. They're a little bit negative, sometimes. And they won't actually, they're, like the 3s will kind of, they're flashy, they're cool, they're impressive. The 9s, sometimes I tell them, it's like, be flashy, sometimes say something good, but they just don't. They're just grinders. They're in the gut type zone. Where the 3 spectrums of the Enneagram are the head, the heart, and the gut. We're kind of in the gut zone right now with the 8s, 9s, and 1s. But the 9, again, if this building's on fire, they'll be the first one to put it out. And then outside, instead of us creative pioneers be outside making a drawing of a new building, they'll be outside taking a nap and saying, "Hey, man, I need to go home right now and take a nap. I'm stressed out, for 3 days." It's so amazing to watch it.
Yes,
it's just so beautiful.
If you think of that as a character fault instead of a personality type, we're operating in a broken world, right? We're operating broken, or we're not able to know that person, to lead that person, right? Because we want to compare everything to us, And so creative pioneer, you're like, we are counterphobic. We push into it. We stay all day. As a matter of fact, we're not going home till tonight.
Exactly. And we're over there going, God, this person's lazy. This is ridiculous. I'm a visionary. I got this covered. I'm a winner. They're not a winner. No, that's not true. They're living a different life. Jesus, within them is a different awareness, and they have to learn that, because when they start competing against 8s and 6s, they're going to feel like, God, I'm just nothing. No, that's just not true. You just haven't discovered your gifts and your downside. The 9s really got to work on this laziness sloth thing, because they just lose with it, and then they just get on board with losing. So then we go over to the 1s. The 1s are the good boys and the good girls. We're still in the gut type space here, and they're the good boys and good boys and good girls, perfectionists. That's kind of why I was thinking I was a 1. But it's amazing to watch them. They're usually pretty serious, not real funny. They're not sevens for sure. Not real entertaining.
Great at presentations.
Oh yeah, they're professionals. I mean, they're people you put in charge because they're the good boys and good girls. They follow the rules and make the rules. But that perfectionist thing, man, is amazing to watch them because they're sitting in front of you, being a good boy and a good girl, good boy and a good girl. But they're pissed. they're the whole time. The frustration, you can just tell. They're like a relief valve on a boiler. It's not lifted yet, but you can just tell at any minute you turn that loose, they're going to like go crazy on you, whether being a good boy and a good girl. You know, so
they're calm externally.
Absolutely, but inside,
but there's an internal intensity.
Yeah.
That to the people that can pick up that radar, they can feel the intensity going on.
Absolutely. It's happening right in front of you.
Yes.
But not if you're not aware and not if you don't know the Enneagram. That's why, you know, and they should have given this kit to me when I was born. And say, hey, Rick, here's the Enneagram kit in 5 voices. I could have avoided a lot of mistakes, but we're allowed to have this free will and encounter all these things. So
what's the downside of the 1?
Downside of the 1 is anger.
Okay. There it is.
Yeah. So, then as we go to the 2s, I'm married to a 2. Like, Lord.
We'll talk about this before the 2s because this is the 2 is a big opening. You know what I mean?
Big opening.
The 1s, you know, we'd say that each one of these things, you know, whether gluttony, lust, you know, anger is an emotion for number 1, and I'm learning that every emotion has a need, and so anger needs to be heard, right? So with a 1, if you can actually hear the 1's frustration, right? They tend to be the older brother in the prodigal son story because they're like, I've always been here. I've put in the time. And the father, you know, the prodigal father is like, you've always been with me. You've always been here. You know what I mean? Like the dad in that story of the prodigal son is like, why are you saying this? Like, you can have whatever you want. You know what I mean? We're fine. And yet that oneness is so angry and in some ways maybe even resentful of this sacrifice that they've done. Right?
They followed the rules. They were the good boy and the good girl. And they're entitled to something now. The other numbers are not as perfect as they are. They're frustrated. Yeah.
When speaking to somebody like a 1, Jesus actually looks at them and he says, hey, go and learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. And Jesus is creating a tension because what he's saying is, this is a process for you. Go and learn what it means. It's not just a statement for you to believe. Go and learn what this means. This is a process I'm putting you in. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. And so that anger needs space to talk and explain and share. One of the greatest things that a 1 can do is to actually have somebody in their corner who will listen to them in that anger so that the release valve actually happens, right? We'll all be better for it.
But that thing you just said is the everything, you know. Jesus says at the end, forgive them for they know not what they do. When you're not aware, this is going on every day. You're hurting yourself and you don't even mean to. You're bumper carring all over the place, you know, and so, yeah, the 1s are amazing. I love them, but
Absolutely.
It's just amazing to watch them. And although they don't really, they don't have fear, they kind of do. It's amazing to watch it because when the good boy, good girl thing doesn't work, they kind of move to fear, but it's not exactly fear. It's curious, but amazing. I mean, here it is. You know, when God made the world, it was perfect until each of us started getting around each other, seeing each other, and then we could not figure out the Enneagram number collision, and then it got worse, and then we had to be different, and we had to be in conflict, and we had to be against you. So, but yeah, that thing you just spoke of, Jesus was for that person speaking of that. And the person probably didn't even know what to do with it.
You call them adapter kits, don't you?
Like one sentence. Yeah. You know, Jesus, there's all these one sentence things that are the size of this building. You just, it's the one sentence and you're like, it's so big. Like, what do I do with it? And then it gets confusing because you go back and encounter all the others and you're frustrated before you're, what would be the word? You're frustrated with the bumper cars, but it's like Jesus just says, sit tight. Enjoy it. Look at it for what it is. This is Jesus. Look what I have done. You're frustrated. It's beautiful. All these people are encountering these things, but instead of wanting to do it and feeling good about it, they're frustrated. You know, so when you start talking about this and somebody inside goes, how do you know that? They're like, can I spend some more time with you, Rick? You see how the leading changes because they're like, you're a leader worth following because you know something. And it's like, look, wherever I sit.
You know yourself to lead yourself.
Yeah, and
you know them to lead them.
And they want it.
Yes.
They want what you have, and I want to give it. Everywhere in my life, the Enneagram chart is with me 93% of the time approximately. It's in this room next door. It's downstairs for the groups, and it's at home in my office. That way I can always refer to it with people because they'll come to you frustrated and wore out and et cetera. It's like, hang on just a second. I've had several. I did some mentoring, power mechanical, every Wednesday afternoon to set aside for goal meetings. So anybody in the company out of 200 people can say, hey, I want a 30-minute goal meeting with Rick. And so many times it gets back to this Enneagram and 5 voices because they're like, they don't understand. And they want to understand. They're just longing to see what's going on out there. And you start, and I usually, the Enneagram 5 voices will come up in that meeting, and people will leave saying, I've been to therapists for years. I learned more with you than I've learned in therapy. And I'm like, well, I never went to school, but I've been down through a lot of ditches, brother and sister. And I can tell you, when I was down in that ditch, I wanted the Enneagram too. So now that we're down in the ditch, I'm going to walk you out and show you the other side. This is where relationship is born. This is where protectors are found. At Power Mechanic, when these people, I've noticed with these goal meetings, if they do 3 gold meetings with me, they're a protector. Because they're just like, instead of it being transactional, like they get paid on Friday, they're like, you care. How do you know?
You use protector as the sense of like somebody who cares, who's here to be a good guardian of the culture, right?
Yeah, everybody's taught to.
Steward.
Oh yeah, well, it's amazing in business. You're supposed to like hate the company and be for the people. See the caring mafia again? It's like, be for both. I mean, it didn't have to be one or the other. I mean, when I started off as a janitor thing and made it up to the top, and I saw all these alignments going on. I was for both sides of it. Actually, with me being a loyalist, I was for the people that were trying to do the right thing. And but I saw a lot of people lining up with others that were like them. So I saw the 7s gather up, and they were doing some interesting things. So were the 8s. The 3s had their own little thing going on. But it was one of those. I saw so many people make mistakes with it because their loyalty went to their buddies and their cronies that were not necessarily behaving well because it felt good there. And what I tell people at Power Mechanical, for example, Adam Getz is a protector. He was mentored by me. He's been there for 20 years. When people see him walking around, they're like, Adam's here. Okay, Adam's here. He's just going to tell it like it is, and he's going to report it like it is. So the whole team, like, Adam's walking around.
Yeah, he's a good steward.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So as you develop these relationships, if you develop it by money and power, corporate structure, and I'm going to pay you and you're making some money, that won't trigger the protector. What triggers the protector is the relationship, the time together. It's like, you have something I want. Will you please give it to me? You're like, absolutely. It was given to me for free. I will give it to you for free. It's not something for me to hoard. The Enneagram is meant to give away. It's not meant to have. And man, a lot of people, it bothers. It's so amazing to watch it. There's certain Enneagram numbers that are like really against it. Why? Because they're like, you have no business knowing that about me. You should not be able to see inside of me. It's not fair. It's like, so certain Enneagram numbers, the ones are kind of like that. And a few other Enneagram types are like, you shouldn't know that's manipulative. And you've seen in our 5 voices training, some people show up like that. They're the against people. I don't want to be in this mentoring because you will have some psychological control techniques. It's like, hang on. And my point with that is they are right. We could, and we know how to, but if the Lord finds out these things,
yes,
we will not be blessed. If you misuse it at this level against his people, you will attract evil in your life.
It's so serious. We can't even have fun with it. We can't be like, I sense fear inside of you. There'd be like, there is fear inside.
Yeah. So
no, we don't play, because at the end of the day, it's like, no, we're actually for you. We really want to help you. We're in your corner. And this is about you leading a healthy life for you. It's about you building a life. Like, we go to work to provide for our families, to provide for our kids, to create this life. We know that it's not just money that provides a life. It is your leadership as a dad or as a husband, and so on,
we build people, then we build boilers. It's the people building. And then what happens is, when the people building gets right, the marriage gets right, the children get right, the family gets right. We don't even need to get to the business and making money part. Those things all go together. Some people say, I'm totally different at work and at home. Once you get your person right, everything gets better. You're more attractive. People want you to join them. If you're an anger type, occasionally you get too angry, they're like, keep away from that person. They're scary. And eventually you learn to regulate that a little bit as a 1. And they say, you start being connective. Even though you have passion and they're more serious, people will start allowing you in their circles differently. So, the Enneagram is amazing.
We've delayed it long enough. Let's hit twos.
Ooh, hit the two,
It's
man.
time.
It's time for the two. Okay, the terrible twos. Okay, kind of, but not really. So I'm married to a two, and
me
it's
too.
like, man, I've been married for 45 years, and I actually taught my wife how to drive. She still can't drive with a shit. She still blames me. and twos are very interesting people. They were born consultants.
Say hello. She's probably going to be watching this.
They didn't go to college. Hello, Sonya. And she's just like, he can't help it. And I remember when I learned the Enneagram, she's like, whatever you need to do to improve yourself would be good, Rick. And I said, well, I was going to share it with you. Basically, she's saying, I don't need improvement. I'm already arrived. And then 20 years later, she had like hit a depression cycle because she this is what the twos do. They don't need help. They basically counsel everyone on being better. So here we are with the two. The gift is caring, and they're running the caring mafia. And people love the twos, man. They are, and I love the twos. Hell, I married one. Okay, they're incredible, but their downside's pride, and fear might be bad. But in the Bible, it speaks of how bad pride is. You can't adjust it. You can't fix it. These are people that, man, they're just consultants. They got it all figured out. Now, right now, I'm talking about unevolved twos. Okay, very important here because as we speak here, people can get their feelings hurt.
Yeah.
We're having some fun. We started off picking on me a six, right? I got my downside too. We're picking on these twos, have a little bit of fun with us. Make sure I'm picking on my wife right now, have a little more fun with us. So, but the gift is caring, and my God, they are caring people. Everybody loves the twos. They want to be with them. My wife is like, it's incredible to watch it. People come to our farm, and it's a unique place, 100 acres, all this, that, and the other, and horses and facility. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Rick. I built all this. They're like, where's Sonya? I'm like, no, I'm Rick, the almighty Oz. Okay, well, we don't. Hey, Rick, have a good day. Is your wife here? I'm just like, they want nothing to do with me. They want to be with her. They want to be around her. She's just like that. And when you're with her, she's present.
They're magnets. They
Oh
are
my
people
God.
magnets.
It's incredible. So here it is. Listen to me talking. They're terrible and they're awesome. Every number is terrible and awesome.
You say, and because their superpower is caring,
Absolutely.
that's going to be very supportive. And so just bringing it back
Too
to the support
supportive.
challenge matrix,
Absolutely.
if they learn how to challenge methodically, systematically, they become beasts, right? In any setting, in any place, in any relationship, because that's the build out, the other 50% that they need to build out, right? Is, or I said the other day, it's like we're born with like 20% of it, with 2 out of 10 things that we can do. So if a 2, they have 2 of the 10 things of caring, but they can build out the rest of their caring can be better, and the 50% of the challenge, which they don't even touch sometimes. All that to say, when a 2 learns to challenge, they have the full package.
That's the story of all the Enneagram numbers. When they learn to embrace their downside and quit running from it and take it and embrace it and grow it, they all have superpowers. How can this possibly exist? Everybody's like, Enneagram, that sounds like a weird name. What's weird and what's sad is you're living a life that's unaware, and you don't even know you're unaware. You don't know you don't know. Okay, once you start getting this, you start to realize, wow, there's a whole nother world out there. Okay, and it's wonderful. It'll hurt your feelings at first because you're going to feel behind. You're going to feel confused. You're going to be, I'm 35 years old or whatever I am, and I'm just getting started now. That's okay. The day you learn it is the day you get started, and everything starts to come to life. Your relationships just go crazy. So the twos, the Enneagram twos, amazing, awesome, born consultants. They know everything. And my wife all the time will be watching TV at home, and she's like consulting to the TV. Well, you know, why is that way? Why is that? They should have done this. I'm like, Sonya, it's a movie. It's a movie. But she's like talking about it, how the movie should be better, and they shouldn't have this happening and that happening. It's crazy to watch it. And what's really cool about that is, and it's what I really thought was neat about my wife, the fact she was so sure of herself, was so sexy. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just attractive because I didn't trust myself on anything. I thought I was goofy, backwards, etc. And I meet this girl, and she's just like, hey, let's jump on a plane, go have some fun, be gone for a week. You know, let's go to Las Vegas, have a good time. I'm like, I'd have to plan that out, honey. She's like, plan what? Jump on a plane, live a life. So much confidence, so much boldness.
You see the design of Jesus to give you a complementary person, right? I think about your 6ness and her 2ness, and they're complementary numbers in many ways, right? Your thinking and her feeling, your your future orientation, her present orientation. She's present with people.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I see that, and I just watch occasionally. I'll just walk past her. I'm like, wow, she'll be sitting with some people they just adore her. And I like the complimentary part of it. When people talk about opposites attract, it's just like, there it is. And a lot of people don't realize that when they say opposites attract, they're actually saying something that is much bigger than they realize. They know there's something going on, but they don't have the Enneagram map. So in this example, when we go deeper, immediately you start to see she has everything I don't have and I want, and I have everything she doesn't have and she wants. Because when we were first dating and all that stuff, I was the purposeful person. It was all on purpose, all a goal, all in control. I was going somewhere. And I think with the twos, they like that. They won't say they like it, but that's the thing they don't have. So what happens is when they hook up with us, that people that got control and got direction, they kind of like that. It makes sense. Like you're going somewhere and they're like, I just want to go to Las Vegas and have fun. Well, funness in Las Vegas and spontaneity are not the same as direction. So I have a map, and they want the map, but they don't want it. That makes sense? So here it is. She has what I want to be, and I have what she wants to be at this deeper level. Now you can see the map and the puzzle, because it's like Jesus gives the puzzle, but he turns it over. So there's a picture on one side, but he flips it over for you, and you can't see the pieces. Why? You have to go in faith and ask him how to place the pieces. And you're gonna understand the significance of this, because otherwise you could put the puzzle together on your own, right? He just flips it over and you can't see the colors.
It requires surrender. It requires reliance.
Absolutely. It requires reliance. It requires humility. It requires asking him to show you the way. So the twos are awesome. So I've been handpicked one in my life. I didn't know what age. What was it? I was 16. She was 15. We have I've given us a song for my wife and I. We have a song from AC/DC. Some people fall in love. It was a little different for me. Maybe very different. A lot of people are talking about love and flowers and kindness. My theme song for my marriage is called "Love at First Feel" by AC/DC. It's just like my wife's kind of a lover and a connector. I'm just like, I was 16 years old, and it's like, I'm kind of a feeler too, but not at the level you're thinking. Anyway,
that's great.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll occasionally walk in the bedroom and I'll have AC/DC "Love at First Feel," and she's like, "God, Rick, are you ever going to grow up?" No, I'm not.
Consistency, right?
Jesus talked about you cannot enter heaven without being a child. So I'm going to maintain this childlike behavior for a long time. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'd say childlike, not childish, right?
There you go.
Let's do the threes.
Okay, so threes. Yeah, threes are really cool. It's a little complicated because, God, they're so amazing, but they got a downside too. And they're the kind of winners. They're natural winners. They're image people. So just to refresh, the gut types are the 8s, 9s, and 1s. The heart types are the 4s, 3s, and 2s. And we're kind of in that space right now. The head types are the 5s, 6s, and 7s. Okay. So we're in the heart space now. And so the 3s are they're image people. Okay, and they're kind of winners already, and they want to win. They do it for the win. They do it to look good. They do it to be professional and to be successful and to be reliable and to be known as that kind of a person. So a lot of good things going on there, but their downside is very complex. It's deceit. Wow, that's a bad word. I'll take fear over deceit. And I'll take fear over pride. Okay, so when we look at the Enneagram of all the choices on there, but it's messy. Here's why. They're so doggone good, they've learned how to manipulate it. Because they're the social one. You remember in high school, there are all these people you thought for sure would be the president of the United States, and now they're all working like at the grocery store or the pharmacy. We're over here running all these companies, and we were the backwards, dysfunctional, idiot, ADHD people, and you thought for sure they would be like the winners. Well, they are. But it's complicated. So you're
talking about relying on your personality to get you there.
Yeah. And
versus the whole build out that it requires.
Yeah. So they're leaning heavy on that. And that kind of creates this, since they know it and they know people think they're cool, they misuse it a little. So there it is. There's deceit there. And they've got to learn to embrace it. I've got a couple employees here and everybody's just like, well, they're unevolved, and it's killing them, because the other employees are like, God, this person's a liar. The person that's all about being cool and looking good, and it's like, people don't like that. It's superficial, and that's kind of right there. That word superficial fits that really well, but only if you're doing it the wrong way. Once you learn to stop the deceit. Oh my God, they're awesome. They just are. I had an employee here a while back that that was kind of a cool winner, pretty type of person like that, and really a sharp person. And I had her crying in 2 days, and people are like, "Why did you have her crying?" Because I called her out on it. Not because I disliked her. It's just I couldn't work with it. So she was
knowing she was a 3.
cleverness.
You began to work on the character.
Yeah, right off the get-go. I'm like,
yep.
hey, let's get something straight here. I don't want you to like have the upper hand, be clever, do things to be real nice or to be cool. I'd rather you just be honest with me because I don't like the deceit of it. Bawling, just crying. I'm like, well, go ahead and get that shit out of you, honey. And I just sit there right for a second. I said, let me know when you're done crying. Okay, you can cry if you want to. I don't care how long it takes. She's like wiping tears off her face. And 3s can kind of cry on cue if they need to. Don't underestimate that. They can. They know how to make that shit work too. It's part of the deceit. That wasn't happening with her. She was hurt. She's wounded. And I told her, you ever heard that before? She's like, that's really hurtful, Rick. I'm for you. I'm telling you the truth right now. We will not be together. I will send you over to answer the phone or work for somebody else here. You're going to work for me. I can't have you playing that card. So she's like, wow. And here it is again. She's like, man, he knows something. He's wise. He's like above average. There's something peculiar about him. How did he know this within 2 days? And then instead, it was high support, high challenge. You see that? But for her, it was definitely not caring. You see, I could have played the carrying card and played along with it, but instead I'm like, high support, high challenge. I want to take a knife, stick you with a knife right now. Just going to get out of your system. You'll have a scar because I'm going to leave a mark right there. That mark right there, that came from me. You got those stitches right there. You got 6 stitches. That's from Rick.
It's the resetting of the bone.
Absolutely. And next thing you know, we're good. So the 3s, they're really, really good. A lot. Some people struggle with the 3s, and but for me, I think they're like every number.
Yeah.
There's a downside and an upside. If they learn to embrace and set aside the deceit, wonderful things happen. So
high connectors, working on character, the build out, right? You call them kits, adapter kits. And so each Enneagram number or each voice, we'll talk about voice, next week. But each voice ends up having their own adapter kit, right? In a way that we actually help each number. Let's go ahead.
I like how you said that. We're not judging each number. The world does that all day long anyway. We're here to help. We're going to say, person I just spoke of, here's the map. You're here.
Yeah.
I just did something for you.
It's not even about labeling or typing people.
No,
it's assessment
I'm for you. But nobody knows this. It's like if you want to watch how this works, the only movie you ever need to watch in your life is The Chosen. And watch the series where Jesus is sitting at the well with the lady. Once you watch that, you'll know what it means to make an apostle. That right there, that's it. It's about 5 minutes. It's all you ever need to see. You can watch anything else you want to. But if you watch that and leave there doing that, this is what happened there. Jesus was a little nicer than me because he's Jesus. I'm an Enneagram 6 counterphobic, and I listen to my words. I stabbed her with a knife. I gave her stitches. Jesus, don't talk like this. He's not a 6. Okay, he's not a counterphobic. Makes sense. But all I can do is my gift to the world is me. And when I got my upside and downside, please let me be me, and I want you to be you. But don't make me try to be a 3.
Yeah,
you see, I can become a 3 immediately. The animal of the 3 is the chameleon. So they move around, they can change shape, and because they fit right in. If you want me to become a 3, I can become a 3 in 30 seconds. But it's not honest. I want to be like, if you encounter me as a 6, don't be mad at me and hate me because I'm a 6. And the country of the 6, by the way, is Germany. These things make sense? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, each culture has
its own country,
an Enneagram or a
German,
a voice.
Man, Nazi. It's like people they call me a Nazi. Like, be careful. All Germany's not Nazi, by the way. And I keep in mind I'm defending 6ness right there.
Sure.
Okay, but they all say Germany's not Nazi. No. That's not true. But there's some elements to that are attractive. Engineering. Look what Germany does. Okay, it's in the world. That head type nature they have, and the fear makes them think ahead. The 8s don't think ahead, and they're plagued by rework. The 6s think ahead, and they win a lot. That makes sense. So
you bring up something that I really want to capitalize on is the point is not for you to become like 3s around 3s. The point is for you to, the golden rule has been, I treat you the way I want to be treated, where in reality, what ends up happening is that everybody else is different from us. And so if we treat people the way we want to be treated, they're not getting the treatment that they want.
Yeah, people don't understand that. They think the whole world's themselves. They look. I'm sitting with you, and I'm looking at a mirror. Like, I'm sure you think like I think. The Enneagram throws that in the trash can and says nobody's thinking like that. You have to encounter them. You can, and I can probably sit with somebody for 15 minutes and be within 80% of their personality style.
Yes. The platinum rule is like, I'm going to treat you the way you want to be treated based on your Enneagram or voice or your gearing, right? Your personality. But
we got to be careful with it because people at once will start to realize, hey, are you mirroring me? Are you trying to up me? And it's like, no. I don't want you to think that because that's not what I'm doing. Now, I'm capable of it. But like we spoke of earlier, you do that enough and Jesus finds out, this gift will start rotting. It's the strangest thing. If you misuse it, there's rules with this. And the rules are within your spirit and within your body. It's like, you misuse this on Jesus's people, you will hurt yourself. So with that being said, we're for them, but I'm okay within a relationship, just like you saw me encounter this 3. And I thought there was great potential there, and there was great potential there. But I had to kind of wound them first. I was for them. I cared about them. I just knew something they didn't know. Made a person cry. People be like, God, that's so uncaring. No, the most uncaring thing ever was nobody ever told her she was doing it. And I told her, she said, whoa, he knows. He knows I got deceived. He knows I'm being clever. Whoa, I just want to get past it. That way we're not plagued with it every day. Makes sense?
One of the things that we want to continuously do is have objective conversations, right? Learn to have uncomfortable conversations around uncomfortable behaviors that allow us to actually help people move the needle in their leadership. That's really important.
Jesus at the well, helping people. Need to know the Enneagram and 5 voices to do it because they don't know. You and I, one time we were in one of our meetings, and I said, can you look up the awareness level of America? And we had a little bit of fun with it. And we're like, I think you looked it up or somebody did, said, America thinks it's 80% aware. And it's actually 19. You see it?
It's a low percentage.
It's a low percentage. And part of it is, it doesn't make it bad. It makes it a beautiful journey to become aware and to start to understand. But most people, they get out of high school, they go to work, and they're a farmer, a welder, a pipe fitter, whatever they are, then they are stuck right there. But they're no longer encountering this and growing from it. So, and you can kind of, when you meet them, you can just tell they're like stuck. Okay. And, but we want to keep encountering people and having these conversations with them if they'll allow it, because we don't want them to think we're righteous and all of that stuff. If they'll allow it, we want to share it with them. If they won't, we just go have a great superficial time. Hey man, let's go hunting. Let's be superficial. Let's tell some jokes. I'm a 7. Let's get drunk. Great.
2 more numbers before we finish. The 4.
Oh, the 4. I got one sitting right in front of me. Of course, the best, Eddie. Absolutely the best. And the same thing with them. It's the same thing. It's the upside and the downside. And it's, so you're a 4. So how about this? Let's let you talk about the 4-ness for a second.
I don't think I have the technical words.
I know you're going to not tell me about any downside.
Oh, yeah.
You will, because you're like that. I like that about you. What's it like to be a 4?
Give me the upside and outside, and I'll explain them. I think
well. What is it? Equanimity on the Enneagram chart is the upside, I think. What is the downside?
Right. That's what I'm.
Well, basically, they don't have one, right?
Right. It just eludes me.
They're just the best.
There's an individualism that happens for the 4s. They want to be unique. They're usually very creative. Yes. And usually the downside of that is that the bottom can fall out really easy sometimes too. Like there's almost like in that creativity, it needs a lot of space to breathe. It needs a lot of abiding in order to actually maintain there. Otherwise, you can kind of actually go to the depression. A lot of 4s tend to sometimes hide under other more stronger personalities. But I think there's a romantic. They're the romantic out of the 4. And so the ideal, for them, the world is how should things be, right? What should be. Not what could be, what should be. And so because they're idealists, if it's not perfect, they usually can't celebrate it, or they won't celebrate it, or they can't. Those words don't come out that easy because they'll focus on the 10% that actually hasn't been accomplished because it could have been perfect. And so people around them sometimes can end up feeling like they're not measuring up or they didn't do good enough, when in reality, things are fine. Things are good. But the romantic idealist wants things to be perfect.
And look at the wings. No, we haven't talked about the wings much.
Yeah.
On one side's the 3, that worker, that doer, looking good,
Performer.
On the other side's the 5, the head type in the fear zone. So we're talking about the wings, and then you're kind of in the middle of that, but bouncing back and forth a little bit. You're talking about the downside
Absolutely.
of it. It starts to fall apart. I'm afraid, and get up in your head. And you and I have been talking lately. And one of my goals with you is to teach you fear. And people are like, "Why would you teach him that?" Well, because you don't have that much of it. That makes sense. And what happens is that without it, there's blind spots, and you know they're there, but you don't mess with them much. Well, what we want to do with you is teach you fear, and what we're going to do is, although you already have 2 eyes, we're going to give you 2 more eyes in the back of your head with that fear. And we're going to give you what's called productive paranoia, not paranoia. We're going to give you productive paranoia.
It's been a season of due diligence, of just learning to actually dig into all of the, because paperwork and legal docs and systems and applying for things and financial things, they're not sexy, they're not fun, they're not romantic, they're not ideal. And so it's easy for us to really circumvent that for, you know what I mean, people and ideas and thoughts, where in reality, that season of due diligence and actually operating in, competence and learning to double down on that competence and credibility, it actually makes the character and chemistry that comes with a 4 much easier, right? And so that's been a huge year of build out of doing that. Absolutely.
It's awesome.
What about the 5?
Ooh, the 5. Yeah, they've been dropped off from outer space. I think they're Martians. Not for sure, but I'm thinking they are. The 5s. Their gift is detachment. They're not the 4. The 4s are like connective and friendly. The 5s are like, don't need much of that. My daughter Rochelle's a 5. And she's a very evolved 5. She knows the Enneagram probably better than me and my kids. Rochelle and Eric have really studied it. But I'm very proud of that. Our whole family knows the Enneagram, including our children. It's amazing the advantages, the children that we have in our family, when they're around certain groups, they're not judging it, not bothered by it. They're just like, if that group over here is 8-ish or 7-ish.
5's in the thinker category, head category, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. They're a head type. So the upside is detachment, and the downside is avarice for knowledge. Now, we're entering the fear space, so this is starting to make sense. The more they know, the less scary it is. Okay. So if I know everything, I'm not afraid. So they're avarice for knowledge. They want all the knowledge, all the facts, all the figures, so they're protected by it. So I'm a 6, but I have a 5 wing and a 7 wing. Okay? So interesting. And they struggle quite a bit. When you're around them, I remember in my C12 group, there was a 5 in there. The whole group, my C12 group it's an interesting group. And it's like, there's a lot of salespeople in there and fun people and laughing people, and they struggle. I'm the person that says, stop laughing and go deep. Stop being superficial, go deep. And they're like, hey, Rick, that's not fun. Hey, why are you like that? Are you judging us? I'm not judging you. You're a salesperson. That's why you're so good at it. Shallowness and that go together. Be friendly. Don't go deep. Well, I'm just like, go deep. So there's a 5 in there. And Randy, the leader, didn't understand what was going on. It's, gosh, she's quirky. She's another. I was like, Randy, she's not quirky. She's a 5. He's like, well, what does that mean? And he started telling me what she did. I'm like, that's super predictable, buddy. I'm like, let me go do your homework, because he was not getting along with her. And he's like, she doesn't follow up just right. And all these things were going on, because sometimes with a 5, they want the presentation to be so perfect. It takes them like 3 extra days. The 8 will just spit it out 50% right. Like, hey, here it is. Good luck with that. It's close enough. If you don't like it, call me. The 5s are like, it's got to be perfect. So they take 3 extra days to do something you could have done in 3 minutes because it's not perfect enough. So this was going on. And you get to see he's struggling in a relationship. And he comes over to me, and I'm like, dude, what's the problem? You're just unaware. And he kind of was insulted by that, because he's like a college professor. He's like a winner. And it's, you can be educated and a college professor and be unaware. That makes sense? I mean, this is a real thing. It's amazing. If college professors, you'd think that college professors would be like all the entrepreneurs in America, right? This is the insult to them right here. Okay,
it's coming. It's winding up.
So I'm at the sniper. It's just like, well, you'd think they would be out being running the country, right? But they're experts. They're a big fish in a pond, and there's a reason for that. It's comfortable there. When you go out to entrepreneur land and you encounter these people, you want to run back, go become a professor, because these people will break your heart and break your spirit. But it's wonderful. It's wonderful. If nothing mattered at PMI, I would not be in the office. If I didn't have to be, I'd be out with people every day. I just love it. They're crazy. There's 2 guys out back fist fighting. They'll be done in 5 minutes. Let them go. They're okay. They're just working some stuff out. Not a big deal. One guy's bleeding. That's okay. We get stitches. If we need to, we'll call an ambulance. I think we're okay. Don't need an ambulance yet. But they're just working some shit out back there. Makes sense. When they're done, we'll have a little bit of a hierarchy here. They probably won't fight again. They'll shake hands. We'll go have a beer. This is the world out here, and it's wonderful. It's just so amazing. There's so many wounded people out there, and I'm kind of. It's almost like it sounds like I'm smiling, and I am smiling. The joy of it is the opportunity that's there. Yeah, they're wounded. Well, let me show you the map. I can't do it for you. But let me show you this map I encountered at age 25 and 26 that changed my life called the Enneagram. You see it? And it's like, and they're like, what is it? I'm like, well, what happened to your childhood? When I do interviews, if you ever see me in prison, it's for HR violations. Okay. Because when I do an interview, I'm asking questions and there isn't rules. Now I'll ask your permission in the interview to say, can I ask you a couple of questions? But I want to get to know the person.
Yes.
The wounding is everywhere. It's amazing. People are barely standing. Their legs are. When you see people and they smile and they laugh, they're just trying to get through. They want to cry. Their legs are not shaking because they're making them not shake. The wounding's everywhere. And you encounter these people in some of our interviews, and I'll start talking to someone. I can kind of tell they're this or that and the other. And I'm just like, hey, what was your childhood like? And they're like, what do you mean? Well, I just. And I will say, well, let me just tell you about me. I had this happen to me. And you don't have to tell me what's on your mind. Everybody said, if I tell you what happened to me, it happened to you. Like, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, well, I didn't know, but it's reeking of it right now. I'm sitting across from you. I can just tell it what happened. So they had a parent that betrayed them, or they had an alcohol or drug addiction in their family. So there was an abnormal psychology going on. But a lot of those people have gained a strength from that. And at Paramechanical, 80% of the leadership team is wounded, but I walked them out of the wound. You see that? Because they were already tough. They were already rugged, but they were hurting from the wound. And when I explained the wound, they appreciated that. That created more protectorism. That makes sense because they knew I was for them. They knew I understood something. They knew I was a messenger of some sort. That makes sense?
Absolutely. So anyway, it's just, let me wrap up with this. At the end of the day, the biggest shift has been for you, and we'll work back towards the story, but learning the Enneagram, understanding yourself first, understanding others, and then overlay that with being for them as you know this knowledge. First of all, being for yourself, and not the idea that being for yourself against them, but knowing yourself to lead yourself, spending time there, then being for them, knowing them to lead them. So it's we call that EQ, PQ, right? A personal awareness versus others awareness. And, emotional intelligence is being able to actually get into that world and do that. It sounds really pie in the sky. It sounds really like fancy. And at the end of the day, it's just how we deal with one another. It's just learning to operate.
Jesus at the well with the lady.
Yes.
The EQ, PQ is happening there at a much different level, but it's still, the model is there.
Yeah.
The model, Jesus is modeling something for us. He came and he left. He left that with us. When you watch that right there, I could watch that 10,000 times. Like that's an interview for me. When I do an interview, somebody's like, I want to work here. And what they're saying is, I want to be with you. You see that? It'd be an interview starting off with, hey, I'm a pipe fitter, or hey, I'm a admin, or hey, or whatever. But the interview's over with. They're like, I want to be with you. I want to be in your.
Yes, they can't say it right away, but what they're saying is, I sense that you are for me. It's beyond a job, and thank you for being for your people.
Yeah.